Today is April 10, 2017. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start the meeting with the invocation by Pastor Judy Brandt, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Lancaster. If I can have everyone please stand.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would like to invite all of you to please join your hearts with mine as I lift my voice in prayer. Most Holy One, you have called us from all walks of life and gifted each one of us individually and uniquely. You have created us to do the greatest good for the work of your kingdom, and so we gather here tonight, and we ask your blessing on this meeting, on this time together. May your Holy Spirit be powerful in and among all those who are going to bring discussion, to have concerns addressed, to lift up things that are wonderful and positive in our community. And I ask, Lord, that in the situations that might become difficult, please be powerful. Help us always to keep in mind that we are working for a greater good, and we are working for the interest of our community, so that in everything, through everything, you, our Creator, may be glorified and honored. I ask that all these, that when they leave, return safely to their homes to continue the work that you have placed in front of them. We ask this all in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Brent, that was beautiful. Which church are you from?
I'm with Oak Park United Methodist Church. Tonight I'm here as part of the Moore County Christian Ministers Association. It was my honor to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address the council, please come forward, write your name and address for the record. Mr. Gladfelter.
This is in part something to do with item 17.
Mr. Gladfelter, 1 second. This is Mr. Michael Gladfelter.
Michael Gladfelter, 1345 Southeast 6th Street, Paris, Texas. I'm here tonight about the cameras that are being put up or taken down, etc. And originally, I believe we were told that the project would start at around $50,000, and it turned into a $62,000 project, roughly. There was no bid. Originally, there were 2 companies that gave bids on the project, and one of them dropped out. And I just can't believe that there's only 2 companies in the state of Texas that install security cameras. And I need to be corrected on this, but when did City Council vote on this to begin with? Because I didn't recall hearing about being voted on. Finally, the bond that you're mailing tonight or trying to promote to get taxes, that we had a reduction because of Paris Junior College getting county support. Well, That vote really isn't over yet. I just have a question. I don't expect it answered, but what happens if the tax vote for Paris Junior College in the county is disqualified by a judge and we vote this bond in? That'll mean higher taxes to us again. I want the voters to think about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wanting to speak in the Citizens Forum? If there's nobody else wanting to speak in the Citizens Forum is now closed. We move to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any questions or concerns on the consent agenda? Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson?
No.
Dr. Clifford?
No, sir.
Mr. Trinado?
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
No, sir.
Ms. Lancaster?
No, sir.
I'll take a motion on the consent agenda.
I make a motion, we accept it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we move on to the regular agenda. Item number 9 is conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on a resolution approving an addendum to the tax abatement agreement between the City of Paris and JS Baking LLC Skinner. The city attorney is going to discuss, Ms. Harris.
Yes, you'll recall, council, on April 22nd, 2013, the council agreed to a tax abatement agreement with Skinner. In the interim, Skinner has had some setbacks and has requested an addendum to the tax abatement agreement that lowers their investment threshold as well as the total number of employees that they have to employ, and this addendum represents those changes.
Any of the council members have any questions on this? Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson?
No.
Dr. Clifford?
No questions.
Ms. Trinado?
No, sir.
Mr. Trinado?
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
No.
Ms. Lancaster?
No.
How would the council like to proceed with it?
It's a public hearing.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
public hearing? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, the public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is more than welcome to come forward.
Robert Spain. I live at 655 South Church Street here in Paris. Thank you for letting me speak. I was reading on the agenda and looked at the first page on the Skinner addendum to where, because I wanted to be more familiar with the abatement process. And I noticed in their original one, they had promised or had contracted to 100 jobs in 13, 200 jobs in 14, and 393 in 17 through 23. And this addendum that they're wanting to do, they're changing the numbers that they have to 117 in 13, 93 in 14, and 116 in 2017 through 23, which means that they're wanting 100% tax abatement for a -1 job creation for the 10-year abatement. I noticed also on page 3 of your addendum that's written out, there's different numbers there. You have the same 117, 93, and 116 for 2015, and then 171 for 2017, which if those numbers are correct, that's 54 jobs created over the 10-year period for the 100% tax abatement. I'm not real clear on how it goes, and I'm hoping that y'all will explain this, but according to the EDC table, for an over $3 million investment for 100% approval, there needs to be 201 jobs created. So I'm assuming that there will be some explanation if y'all go ahead and approve this 100% abatement for them. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let other council members answer your question as well, and I'll try to respond on what my thought process is. But since this is a public hearing, let's hear if anybody else wants to say anything about it first. Okay. If there's nobody else wanting to speak, the public hearing is now closed. And I'd like to start by answering just my thought process, Mr. Spain. I think you're very right in what you've commented on. The problem, however, that we have is we have a company which is trying to do their best for the city. Yes, they do not have enough number of jobs that they initially promised. Does one take the route of being very hard on them and saying that, okay, you know what? We are going to strictly go by our policy, which is laid down, and we are not going to give you the 100% tax abatement, which is by our rules the right thing to do? Or do we become friendly with them and avoid them from completely drowning and saying that, okay, well, we understand that you've asked for 100% abatement, it is not part of our policy to do that, but we'll try to help you out and support you in whichever which way, and avoid them completely drowning and losing whatever 50, 60, 90, 100 jobs that one has there. Because you can be very hard on them and say that, you know what, this is not part of our policy, we're not going to do it. Okay? They will have to come up with more funds. If those funds come up at the cost of, let's say, 10 employees losing their job or drowning the company and shutting it down, does that make sense or does that not make sense? Yes, you're right about the policy, but I think at some point we need to figure out ourselves that do we go strictly by the policy or do we try to negotiate and give them enough time to recover and let them have what they have, continue with the abatement, and then maybe at some point they'll become a job provider of that many jobs. And so it's a hard choice, I think. But my thoughts are that if somebody is trying to struggle to push them further down just because we wanted to collect some more tax, I'm not sure I'm totally for that. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, because I do want to follow the rules as well, but that is just my own thought process. I'm going to let others answer for themselves. So, Ms. Lancaster.
This actually has been going on for some time, and we have talked about the 100%, and then we're against it. We set up a sliding scale, and I'm sorry, I'm for staying with what we set up.
Mr. Jenkins?
I mean, I pretty well agree with everything that's going on right now. I know they're having a tough time right now, and we're trying to be business friendly for Paris, Texas.
Mr. Trinado?
I'm for this because we need the jobs here in Paris. Yeah, they've had a rough time, but they're trying to come out of it. You know, they could have just walked away and said, that's it, but I'm for the company.
Dr. Clifford?
I'm generally for enforcing the agreements, but this is one I'm going to make an exception on. I think we were all pleased when they bought this factory and the promise of opening it up. It's sat vacant for years. They made a good faith effort to get it going, and they invested a lot of money, and they've come upon some hard times. I think if we take this away from them, they may very well shut down. I do think Mr. Spain has a point. What is stated here in the item is 116 by the end of 2017, but in the actual contract, there's a variance there, Stephanie. It says 171 in the addendum, so I don't know if that's an error or what.
I think it's correct in the addendum and not in my memo. But before I have anybody sign off on anything, I will triple check that.
Okay, because on Roman numeral 5 on jobs, the other two numbers are correct, the 117, 693, and then 116, and then it's 171, whereas on the item, it's back to the 116, which is what's on the item.
I think that's a misprint in the
Okay, just as
memorandum.
long as we get it straight. But no, I think this is something we may very well run them completely out of town if we do away with this. So.
And this does provide, I neglected to mention in my memorandum, whereas the original abatement was 100% for 10 years, this allows some to catch some of this back in the last 3 years. It reduces the abatement to 90%. So that was some give on their end.
Mr. Frierson?
Well, just a personal aside, I think since I've been up here, I've been very much in favor of economic development and working with companies to help sustainability has been something big for me. I guess my real questions are to John and Stephanie or whoever's really been involved in this, because we are having to modify the agreement. What's the, not necessarily business practice or forecasting, but from your conversations with them and the executive team or whoever it is, has the dialogue been open and they've been receptive? I'm sure they initiated this, but I mean, has it been back and forth? I assume it's.
I really haven't discussed negotiations with them. This was
Okay.
kind of presented to me. This is what we want to do. When this initially came up was right when I came on board as the interim city attorney, and the numbers had already been kind of worked out. So I haven't had discussions with them about that. There was a lag time. I had sent them documents and they didn't ever send them back. So that's what the lag time was.
Okay. Well, but I mean, as far as my concern is if we go back to the well this time, I mean, everybody feels comfortable that there's a process in place they're going to be able to sustain and meet these numbers, or that's today, because who knows
I
about
think
tomorrow.
it's reasonable to assume
That's really my question.
that it's not like
Reasonable is
it's
a good word.
crazy out of the world. That's their plan. They expect to hit that. They were way over optimistic to begin with, and then they also had some issues. They've been really good to work with, other than the fact that they hadn't hit their numbers. So we feel pretty confident. It's a good business back in Nebraska. They haven't been able to start up the new plat as quickly or as well as they expected, but they're still committed to it, and that's the thing we want to continue to do.
Those are really my questions. Thanks.
Ms. Drake?
Well, by the time you get to me, most of my questions have been answered. My thing was, if we do this, are they going to be committed? I mean, did you feel comfortable with them being committed? And I'm glad Stephanie talked about the 90% reduction. So I'm never for losing business, and I'm never for having to change things, but life happens, unfortunately. So I'm okay.
All right. So this is not the normal course we take, but I'll ask Mr. Spain, is your concern answered, or do you have any other comments? I'm going to allow you, in spite of the closed public hearing, to speak if you want to. Please come to the mic so that.
I know the PEDC is a lot of times under fire, either justified or unjustified. And if we're going to allow Skinner to renegotiate their jobs that they're going to make, are we going to do that across the board at the PEDC? Because to me, when you set an example on one, you kind of are then caught with the next person that comes up and says, kind of had hard times here. We're not going to be able to make our numbers right now. Just bear with us for a while. And what can you tell them? No, we're not going to do it for you. You're not big enough, or, you're not as important as Skinner was. So that's what I was wondering. If they're...
No, I mean, I think your concerns are very genuine. We've all faced those concerns. But I think when it comes down to really the decision-making time, as a council, does one decide and say, well, I'm going to be a hardhead and it's not a question of justified or unjustified, anything to do with PEDC. Am I going to be a hardhead and say, no, I'm not going to do it? If you fail, you fail, lose the rest of the 60 jobs too? Or you say that, okay, you know what, give and take.
I would feel better, because this is 2017 and there's only 8 months to the end, which is when they said they would have their, build-up done. And I'm just wondering if anybody has gone out and seen if all the lines that they've wanted to put in, if they're getting close to finishing them, if there's ever any inspection on work being done. Because If you approve it now, then to me, they're kind of off the hook. And then at the end of 2017, if they've had some other unexpected occurrences, maybe all those lines that they had said they were going to put in, which are in your description, that hadn't changed from the 19.4 to the 15.6 million. They're still saying they're going to do the same things.
So let me ask you a question and put you a little bit on the spot. You're in my place, let's say for that, for example. You're in my place, how would you vote? Would you say that, no,
If I
I'm not
were
going to give the abatement, or would you say that, yes, I will?
If I were negotiating with them?
No, not negotiating. This is the time to vote on a subject.
Okay. I don't think that they should get 100% tax abatement, personally.
But they're not. It's
Maybe an 80%, maybe if they're going to renegotiate on their jobs numbers, if we're going to give them something, they need to give something, in my opinion. You know, instead of 100% tax abatement, 80, 90%, you know, from this point forward, I would think it would be fair to let them off the hooks on their job numbers. If I were mayor and wanting to do something about that, you know, give and take, not just give. That's my opinion.
Okay. Since I've asked you, I'm going to, with the council permission, I'm going to reopen the public hearing for a second because Mr. Harper wants to say something too. So is everyone okay with the public hearing be reopened for us?
That's more down the line of Ms. Harris and
Okay.
procedurally, if that's,
You have no objection to
I
it?
don't have any objection. if that's
Okay.
what you'd like to do.
Mr. Harper, you're on.
My name is Holland Harper. I live at 1040 31st Street. The 2 weeks before Skinner Bakery bought their facility, I got 2 phone calls. One was from, I call them the Pirates. Their plans were to destroy the facility. It's a 330,000 square foot facility, rail spur, 100-acre site. Their plans were to strip every piece of copper out of it, sell all the equipment off of it, level the site, and turn it into a slab and give it away. We were very lucky to have Skinner there. I wish them the best in their success, and I hope that this council will support them.
Okay. Mr. Perez?
My name is Michael Paris. I'm the Executive Director for the Paris Economic Development Corporation. I live at 3445 Miller Place. I have toured and had made visits to Jay Skinner.
Please look at the mic because
I was trying to acknowledge both parties, but I have toured and I have visited with Jay Skinner. They have gone through some changes with their management and a new plant manager. They had a scenario where when they first started here, they wanted to start out with a new product line, I believe with a major food distributor or fast food chain. That did not work out as had planned, and that's the reason they had revamped and had made a setback and then looking to move forward with some new product lines. So the new manager that they have now has new ideas compared to what ideas that they had when they first came here. And so I can tell you, at least from my standpoint and my assessment of the company, they're doing quite well. They have had setback, but they are moving forward. The one comment that was made, you know, maybe there should be some abatement taken or given or whatever. I would make the comment that there is the give and take, and that take is that we're attracting that capital. We're attracting that capital to the community of Paris, which does equate to jobs, and that's vitally important.
Thank you. Any other council members have any concerns, questions? No. Okay. I would just propose something and see what, just a question for the rest of the council is, taking Mr. Span's comments into consideration, that we do what the city attorney has advised us to do, to okay the abatement at this point, but have a caveat there that if they still do not meet the numbers in 2017, to maybe relook at it at that point. Would that be a okay suggestion, or how does the council think about that?
I think it's a good idea, Doctor.
Mrs. Bryson, you're smiling but not saying anything.
no, I think a lot of these things should be treated as kind of living, breathing documents, that they are fluid, that business is fluid, that life is fluid, and that, you know, if we're going to be partners in this, yes, I think we deserve the opportunity to go back and see what the state of the union is at that point. So I'm okay with it.
This would be like any other tax abatement that doesn't have an addendum. You look at what their numbers are and how they're doing. We would now measure it by this as opposed to the numbers in the previous document. But if we discover that they are not meeting their numbers or they're not complying with any aspect of the agreement, we would bring that to you for your consideration.
So I would like to make a motion that we approve it as it is, but we have a caveat in it that the numbers be relooked at the end of 2017, and we have the right to renegotiate at that point if we need to.
Second.
Any discussion on it?
So it would be, wouldn't it be null and void anyway, theoretically, if they didn't have the numbers? So we wouldn't have to
They
necessarily.
would be in breach, yes.
They would be in
And then
breach,
that
yeah.
would be, the council would then decide how you
So
handle
if-
that breach.
But
Whether
they're
you want
currently
to
meeting,
renegotiate or say, King's X, this is done.
so they're currently at 116, is that what I?
I'll have to double check what they're currently
So we're
at.
basically saying they're going to maintain the
Yes.
116,
And they're supposed to have, be up to 171, I think, by the end of this year. So,
Okay. No problem.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Uh,
Anyone opposed? Ms. Lancaster?
No, under those safeguards, I'll go ahead and tentatively say yes.
Okay, so all in favor. Thank you. Thank you for your comments, all sides. Item number 10 is conduct a public hearing. By the way, that was a good suggestion, Mr. Spain. That was a good suggestion. Okay, item number 10, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Pamela Harris for changing in zoning from Central Area District CA to Central Area District CA with a specific use permit 50 new or used car lot on City Block 178 lot part of 10 and 11 located at 443 South First Street.
Thank you. Good evening.
Mr. Efrasi.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. In the central area zone, new and used open car lots require a specific use permit. A public hearing was held before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission supported the recommendation to the council for approval with the condition that this be allowed for a period of 5 years, after which the applicant, if he so chooses, can come back through the public hearing process for reconsideration of the continuation of this used car lot. It will remain on the site. There is an existing bail bond business which will also remain on site. So we recommend approval.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is more than welcome to come and address.
Ricky Lucas, 225 Southeast 33rd. One of the concerns was during the P&Z hearing was us keeping it looking nice and stuff. We're not going to work on any cars there at the premises. We're going any work done on the cars we're going to send out. The neighbors we talked to before we went to the P&Z and told them what we were doing, and no traffic problems. We're not going to have any traffic problems there, and we're going to, the building was redone before we got there with the cars. Eddie and Pam redone the building according to the Historical Society down there before we got there, so we're not going to have parts laying around, batteries and wheels and stuff like that. We're going to send everything out, and we're not going to work on anything. So as far as keeping it looking nice, we're going to send everything out. No work's going to be done there at the place, and we're going to keep it looking nice, and that was one of the concerns. And I just want to let y'all know that's what's going to be done while we're there.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Anybody else wanting to speak for or against? No? All right, the public hearing is now closed. Ms. Drake.
My only concern when I saw that and when I've driven by is to make sure that those vehicles are back far enough that you can see back to the north if you're going westbound on Sherman Street. And then when people are coming and looking, to make sure they're not parking right there where it's blocking the view. Those were my two concerns about having it there.
Mr. Frierson?
I had some questions for Alan, if he's
Yes.
available. Can you kind of walk me through the planning and zoning discussion? They had a split vote on this, some of their concerns and some of the solutions you came up with?
Yes. Originally, the staff had considered the recommendation for either approval or denial, and we gave a series of reasons. The approval process considered the addition of a new business, and since it's a specific use permit, it was site-specific. It's at the lower end of the central area district. There are some similar uses within the several blocks, essentially to the west. The recommendation for consideration for denial was that there are single-family homes to the south, to the west, and the east, and the central area was designed essentially to preserve and optimize the historic area. Further, while there are still some uses, automobile-oriented uses, automobile repair, et cetera, a year ago when we went through this process, they were recommended to remain by the several boards and commissions that we talked to prior to updating the CA zone. So those were the two broad categories. Now, at the Planning and Zoning Commission, at the first meeting, it was tabled because the question came up as to whether or not we can assign a time frame to it. And Ms. Harris did the research, as did I, and yes, you can put a time frame on specific use permits. Then last week at the Planning and Zoning Commission, Mr. Harper and Mr. Spain recommended denial, essentially because they wanted to maintain the integrity of the less intensive uses in the downtown area. But the five members recommended approval with the consideration for the time frame, which then can be evaluated over the next 5 years to see whether or not the use is appropriate, at which time it can be eliminated. I hope that answers your question, sir.
It does. Just a couple of quick things within the considerations. So with Cleon's concern about safety, visibility, cars on the sides, or what are the parameters there? Well,
The city engineer, public works director, and also myself and the fire marshal, we have created a development review team. All of us had those concerns. We've addressed it with the applicant early on, and he has indicated that he will be sensitive to the location, site distance issues, access, turning movements, all of which we've identified in our agenda items, so we're comfortable that he will respond to that.
Okay. Right. And so approximately how many cars at one time are we talking about?
Yes, in that neighborhood, 18 or 20.
That's
and then he had
feels like a lot. I don't know
yeah,
if it is or not. But
well, he had it. We prepared an aerial photograph, and he had to carve out the exact spaces for location, which the city engineer and others have looked at.
Sir, please come to the mic to speak.
Yeah.
My name's Eddie Harris. Enrique and I are partners in the car lot. That left 7 or 8, I don't have that plat with me, parking places on the car lot, and then there's 4 in the street in front. You know, they're designated for that. So, I mean, you know, very seldom we have over 1 customer, and we're going to have 11 or 12 parking places. And we're going to be very cognizant of the visibility as far as the streets, because if we stay off the sidewalks, that's a real wide sidewalk, and I'm going to say that's going to be 9 or 10 feet to be back. But if somebody parks on the street,
A customer.
or a customer, somebody at Market Square, or whatever.
Right.
There's parking all down that street.
Yes, I understand, but not your cars, right?
No, sir, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
understands that we told him.
Okay. That's just
That
all for
it?
me for right now, yeah, thanks.
Carla, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to clarify on the site plan he was discussing. We did review that, and all of the parked cars are on site and behind the sidewalk on property. He would not. It is recommended that he put up some sort of perimeter fence or cable or some marker that identifies private property versus the public right of way. As long as he stays behind the property line, there was not a visibility issue that we were concerned about. And there's no parallel parking on the street once you're close to the intersection. The parallel parking actually stops further to the north, and he, as a business owner, isn't allowed to count the on-street parking toward his private business. It has to be actually on site. So I was just wanting to clarify a few of those points.
Thank you. Dr. Clifford?
Question for Alan.
Yes, sir.
What was the issue with the gravel? I was trying to understand that. There was something about the
Well,
gravel. on the
we
lot.
don't allow gravel on the parking spaces now, but the gravel existed prior to that.
There was a restaurant, excuse me. There was a restaurant there when I bought the place, and it was already gravel, and I freshened the gravel, but I did that not because of the car lot. I did that back when we redid the office.
Okay, and is it currently being used as a used car lot?
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, so if we deny this, then I
It
guess
won't be.
It won't be, okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Done, Dr. Clifford?
Yeah, that's all.
Mr. Trinado?
Okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you I'm against this, and I'm gonna give you my reasons. Okay, first of all, to me, and probably a lot of citizens, the Market Square is a landmark for the city of Paris. And to me, it should be kept pretty and nice the way that it is. Okay, it was brought up about there was gravel on the site, but it's no longer allowed. I had a friend of mine that was gonna open a used car lot. And the city told him he had to have that thing paved. Well, he was gonna put the gravel on like that. He couldn't afford it. And now this one is just full, it's just nothing but gravel. So that's not fair to deny one. Okay, and Bywaters, to me, okay, I'm sorry. Where you're gonna put this, it's kind of in the middle of town. You've got Bywaters Park over here. You've got the library up the street. And you've got the Market Square. And fellas, I don't think a used car lot would look good there, basically. You got neighborhoods, kids and families on this street, on South Main. You got all these nice homes of people coming into Paris. Okay, and we're trying to make Paris a more beautiful place to live. And 'cause I believe it takes away from that. And also, your parking, I don't know if you're aware of it. You've got a white Mazda SUV parked in a parking area right now. Now, how long is this going to be on? And this was about half a day today. It was there, yes, it was. It was there when I came by there today to come into the meeting, because I went by to see, I seen it this afternoon, I was riding around, and I was going to see if y'all had like gravel or did you have the concrete on there. So this is why I'm against it. It just takes away from the whole neighborhood down there, and that's the way I feel about it. Thank you.
Mr. Jenkins?
I rode by a couple of times. I've seen a lot. It looks pretty nice and neat and everything. I mean, I'm not against it, but other than that, I mean, it's good for the community, I think, also for the business owners anyway. I just think it's a good idea to have it.
Okay. Ms. Lancaster?
I think it detracts from the area and what we're trying to do there, and I'm against it.
Okay. I need a little explanation of what is this. Do we have a requirement of having gravel, or is that a negotiable requirement, or what does that mean? I am a little confused in this.
Let me just add this, whether it's there or not, in specific use permit, if you wish to make that as a condition, legally you can make them remove the gravel and pay that as part of the specific use permit. But I'd like to have the city engineer talk about the specific law right now in relation to gravel.
I think in 2009, the city passed a dust-free ordinance where they essentially took a gravel parking lot out of our approved standards from our parking lot paving standards. But I think at that time, there was a panel that I guess, I don't know how they came up with the recommendations from the public, but they considered that the public also wanted the option to be grandfathered in, and so they wrote in some exceptions to the surfacing. And one of those reads that non-conforming parking areas, access drives, and driveways in existence prior to the effective date of this ordinance, February 23, 2009, may be maintained using their current paving materials so long as non-conforming parking and driving area and/or total square footage area of existing structures is not expanded or enlarged by more than 49%. So in this instance, I think the applicant during a P&Z, they indicated that they had come to the city in 2013 to see if they needed to do anything with their lot, and they were told as long as they weren't making, it was an existing gravel lot, as long as they weren't making it any larger, then it was essentially grandfathered in. So that's the history that I know. Does that
So
sufficiently?
basically, that lot is grandfathered into it unless they were going to make some.
Unless
other
there was a major change to the site, if they were going to demo the building and make it larger or put in a different business, but they used an existing structure and the existing lot that was on site, and they didn't make it larger, so I think that they were considered grandfathered in under the 49% rule.
Okay. One other question that I have is, how long have you been using the lot right now for the current use that you have?
In 2013, sir, January 2013.
So it has been there since then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm just curious on one other thing. Supposing you are not allowed this, what are your options?
I don't have any options. I mean, we'll just...
Have to shut it down?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any of the council members have any questions about it?
Can I ask?
Sure, please go ahead.
Sir, you said you started your car lot in 2000.
No, sir, I didn't say that.
You said you've been selling cars.
No, he asked me what year I opened the business there.
Okay.
And that was
But
January
what
of...
about cars?
Well, that was January of this year.
This year, okay.
Yes, sir.
That's what I
But we opened the business there when we did all the work and everything on the facility in January of 2013.
And what was the business then?
It's a Lone Star Bail Bonds.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Carla, can I ask you a question? I don't know if I heard you right a while ago. Okay. Okay, now, I had a friend of mine, I heard told you about, that he was going to build a car lot, and they pressed him to pay that lot, and he didn't have the money. Now, we're giving a lot, you're going to let him try to pay us this. Well, he can just have nothing but gravel there, you know. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, if he could say, well, we're going to put half of this lot here is going to be for the bail bonds and half for the car lot, can we make him, or get them to, ask him to pay that half?
I guess you're suggesting to have them pave for the new, basically a new CO would require all of the current standards, is that the question? I don't believe we can?
It's just, the whole lot is requested for rezoning. He's keeping the bail bond business. He had indicated to us. But since the entire lot is part of the rezoning, and it's a specific use permit, you can request additional elements to be put on the
Mr. Efrazi, can you please come close to the mic so that
I'm
everybody
sorry.
can hear you?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Since it's a specific use permit, on all specific use permits, you can make requests above and beyond the basic requirement. That's because the specific use permit, the theory, you're granting someone a particular use, where in a specific use permit, unlike a permitted use where it's allowed automatically, or a non-permitted use, it's automatically not allowed. In the specific use permit, you can say yes or no legally. And part of that includes, you can add the time frame on it, you can add landscaping, you can even add hours of operation. I'm not saying we do that here. Those are the kinds of things that legally, over decades, have been allowed to be put in specific use permits across the country.
Except that there is a little problem with that, and that is the thing has been grandfathered into it, and now, yes, you're issuing a specific use permit, but you're overriding the grandfather clause.
In my opinion, we can defer to the city attorney. In my opinion, I think that you can do that.
Mr. Godwin?
Are you going to talk first?
Well, both of you can.
Well,
talk, so-
just, this might be a little confusing because it may sound like you got staff telling you two different things at the same time, and they are. But it's because they're talking about two different ordinances. The building standards, construction standards was what the city engineer is talking about, and that's exactly right. When the ordinance was changed in '09, all new parking lots going forward were supposed to be dustless, typically concrete or asphalt surfaces. And if you were in place at that time, you are grandfathered. And that's the end of it. However, like Alan's saying, in zoning, if you request a special use permit, a lot of cities it's called a conditional use permit, you can put almost any conditions on there. Yeah, we'll let you sell cars if you paint it blue and sell tacos. I mean, you can do any reasonable, tacos probably wouldn't be reasonable. You can do any kind of reasonable thing. So there's two different deals. So what they're telling you is, according to the construction paving standards, you can't make them. But if you want to put a condition on there, it's going to be 5 years long is all you can do it. That's one of the ones that's recommended. You can do those kinds of things. Now, the problem that you have, at least maybe in the face of it, is you got an ordinance that says they're grandfathered, and that's what they're going on. So they're reasonably, I think, assuming, look, guys, we didn't have to put a new parking lot in there. It's not fair to put another condition on there. And I don't want to speak for them, but that's what I'd be thinking if I were them. So you can do it, but
And what one may think, what one person may think reasonable may be very unreasonable for
Right,
another person.
right,
So,
right.
City attorney
Well, what he said, but,
is unreasonable.
No. He explained it very well. The difference is, if they were not seeking to do anything on that lot other than the bail bonds office, then we couldn't come and make them change their parking lot. But because they're asking for the special use permit under the zoning ordinance, that could be a condition added onto it.
Okay.
The question. I'm sorry, Mr. Drake.
No, you go. You were first, so you.
Go ahead. No, you were first. Go ahead.
Everybody always asks her questions before we get to
Okay,
her, so
go
I'd like to
ahead,
hear
Ms.
from
Drake.
I've just been sitting here thinking, and I apologize for having to get up and leave. My son had an interview, and he was calling me to let me know how it went. Does this affect our Main Street? I guess the requirements for downtown?
not from any legal or standard. Certainly has the potential to affect it, but no legal standards or anything like
Okay,
that.
that's what I was.
Well, the other thing about it is that if it was affecting, I don't think you would come up with a recommendation of approval, right? If it was not coinciding with the other Main Street requirements.
That's correct.
Correct? Yeah.
Entered my mind. I just want to make sure.
Mr. Frierson.
That wasn't my question, so I get to ask mine now. So I guess maybe I'm being dense about this, which wouldn't be the first time, but so the car sales opened in January of this year, right? Yes. And we're at the end of April, or mid-April, I guess. I guess I'm counting meetings, but how did we get here tonight? How have they been selling cars since January?
Well, it hasn't been open since January. That's when we applied for the license, put the signs up. The city came and let us,
Sure.
the city came and let us know that we needed a specific use permit. We didn't realize that because there's a garage on the same block.
Okay.
There's a what?
There's a garage with cars torn down and parts laying everywhere. So we didn't realize we needed,
Down behind the library?
yes,
The other
yes.
bail bonds place?
Yes. So we thought that we keep our place looking a little better than that, and we didn't realize we needed that. When they came and told us, we immediately did all the stuff we were supposed to do. And we've been working on it since then. They can tell you that.
Okay, so that's really my question was, I mean, the mechanics of this have all been started in a timely manner?
Yeah, ours was totally out of
Okay.
ignorance in the beginning, but the minute they let us know.
We're all victims of that, but, so, not on the agenda, but, so is everybody on that block having to comply with the special use permit? The other?
It's allowed outright in the zoning.
Absolutely.
That's crazy town.
It's allowed outright.
Throwing hoods up, tires, wheels, everything, and I don't have to.
Well, I was curious about the timeline, and I'm not trying to dive down too deep. That's just where I was trying to get, was if they started in a timely manner.
So, am I hearing it right that if you were to open a mechanics shop there, you wouldn't need to have a permit and you could?
I can put a tire shop, a mechanic shop, lay gas cans out by the street. Y'all are not gonna say anything, but
All
I
right.
can't do what I wanna do.
I think he just bought my vote, though.
That's actually probably a poor choice of words. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Can I say something?
Mr. Frierson, you're responsible for this. Had you not asked this question?
In all fairness, I've never been known to change your mind, so I don't think I had anything to do with that.
Well, you did this time. Dr. Clifford.
I've been vacillating on this back and forth even during the discussion. Obviously, you know, my one concern is this is an area we'd like to see developed. There's a park nearby. There's the farmer's market across the street, and maybe that's not going to happen in the immediate future. After listening to all the discussion, though, the 5-year time limit is, I think, enough of an impetus for me that if development gets going, that we can revisit this in 5 years. Yeah, what you just said was actually very helpful.
Anybody has any further discussion on this item? No. How does the council want to proceed with it?
I'm making a motion that we deny it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay, so motion doesn't carry. What is the next motion? I suppose the next motion is motion to approve. I'll make that motion, but I will say put a time limit to it, as Dr. Clifford is saying, and I will be very honest. The reason why I would say this to make the motion on this item is because I really have a problem with somebody putting up. If you can put a mechanic shop and they don't need a permit, and they're going to keep their facility clean and tidy and not be a hindrance and not be bad for the area, then I'd rather have that. So with that said, that's my motion.
I second it.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Well, two opposed, you and Ms. Lancaster, I take it.
Can I ask something?
Please, go ahead.
Would y'all please move that car off the street? Huh? There is a car there. It's got one of those signs for sale, and it's been there since the middle of the day. Are you starting this now? Yeah, we're going to have some more of that. Okay. That's fine. Just get it out of the street.
All right. If the council has no objections, I'd like to move item number 16 up. So I'll make a motion to move item 16 up.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. I'd like to request Ms. Gail Chira to come up and give her proposal. She has a very interesting proposal for the council, and she did discuss it with me, and I think her thoughts are absolutely beautiful, so time for her to speak.
Mayor and council, thank you for this opportunity. This has been, I would say, a burden on my heart for about 2 years now. And we moved to Paris it's been 5 years. 5 years. And I'm Gail Chira. My husband's Dr. Chira. And so my vision, well, I would want to call it a vision, but it's actually a burden, and it's basically to improve the homes and the lifestyle of low-income families in and around Paris. And basically how I would want to do that is to gather, perhaps, not gather, but solicit contractors, businesses around to come together, schedule a team, and to go into these areas myself and, a team, go into the areas and, just basically ask the homeowners, ask their permission to repair their homes, things like that. Basically to renovate their homes of the low-income areas. Those homes that may be, not fully functional, perhaps need paint. So the team would basically go in, assess the repairs that need to be done, and of course, ask permission if the homeowners, if the residents, are tenants, they would, we'll have to ask the permission of the landlord and to do any repairs on the homes. So to get the whole picture, we would be beautifying the area of Paris. And in addition to that, let's see. We would work with there is a nonprofit organization that had just started up. It's called Impact Paris. Basically, they deal with, they work with recovering addicts, people on the streets, homeless people. So we would work with them, and so this project that I have on my heart, basically, it would be a holistic project. While we repair their homes, Impact Paris would work on socially, emotionally, work on the family to get them back on their feet. There are many homeless people in the Paris area, so we will work with them. If they jobs, we'll work with companies to find jobs for them, things like that. So, thank you.
All the council members probably have already read the agenda item that she had. Ms. Chira, I do have a couple of questions, but before that, I would say that I'm more interested in the project, not just for the beautification part. Yes, the city needs beautification, but I think we're supporting the families comes, and what you had mentioned and what's written about women coming out of the shelter, etc., and they're supporting them, and the city, if city has property that can be given, that all of us can help volunteer improve. Right. I think I like that part a lot more than just the beautification part of it. Yes, beautification is important, but I think when it comes to support of these families, I think that's a great idea. I do have a few questions. The first question that I have is, let's say we are able to get a volunteers team together to do it. Mm-hmm. And let's say we find an appropriate family who can get this property or get the thing fixed. How do we make sure that they're able to maintain it? Or let's say they're paying their electric bill so that they've been given a house now that we renovated, which may have been a dilapidated home that we renovated. How do we make sure that they're still going to be able to pay the electric bill or the water bill, etc.? So,
right. Now, what I do have in mind is that we will work with that family. Donations that would come in, we would help them set up perhaps 3 months, 6 months, just assist them. But we would make sure that they, can, in the long run, support themselves. At least have one family member working. If it's a single mom with 2 kids, we would ensure that that mom gets a job and she's responsible enough to maintain that house.
So in other words, you are going to give those places to those people that you feel will become a functional part of the society and will be able to support themselves at some point.
Right. What we would do is the team would repair the home, renovate the home, and have that family move in. We will support them. It's not going to be easy, and this is just this is new. So we would work with them and just ensure that they can maintain. If they can't, then we will have to, I don't know what we'll do. We'll just have to work with them.
And that is where I do have a little bit of an issue, that I think that is something that we need to think of before we start doing it. Whatever policies and procedures you make, it should be such that if it's very hard to take somebody out of a house after they've been moved in and say that, we provided you shelter, now you're out of the shelter.
Right.
And when I say shelter, I don't mean specifically by the word shelter. What I mean by it is that we've provided them home or wherever they live. To take people out of that seems kind of cruel.
Right, and we would try not to do that. But,
My suggestion would be that we should make sure that we allot it to those people who we feel that will become functional part, and they'll be able to help themselves at some point.
Right, yes.
So that is one of the comments that I had. And the other thing that I want to find out from you is, how do you want to get this group together? Do you want support from the council, that you want a council member to come with you? How do you want to organize this?
Well, I've been speaking with church groups, people in my own church and ladies groups, and they're very excited about the project. So what I plan to do is have a team or committee members, and we would approach businesses. Of course, I will draft a letter and approach businesses, ask for their help, and just get a massive team together. It will grow as time goes by. I don't expect things to be, big now, but it would grow. And just cold call, go down one Saturday, knock on doors. May I help you? Can we help you repair your floors? That type of thing.
And what do you anticipate as the overheads of your organization?
I haven't reached that far just yet. We're still in the planning stage.
But I would take that most of the contribution would go towards...
Oh, yes, 100% of the donations would go to there would be no employed individuals, no person employed.
Okay. All right. I'll open it to the other council members. Ms. Drake, any questions or concerns or suggestions?
I think you might have answered it, but I just want some clarification. I know you were looking for volunteers like plumbers, carpenters, that type of thing. So they would be donating their time and expertise.
Correct.
As far as getting the wood, the paint, the pipes and all that, are you looking for both financial money from different organizations or people, or also donations of, say, a lumber company, here is a truckload of lumber or whatever?
Right. Of course, money is always helpful, but I do have contact with someone who was able to work with Paris Lumber and Home Depot to get lumber and whatever materials the homes may need or we would need.
Okay. I think that's all I had right now.
Mr. Frierson?
Just a couple quick questions, and thank you for the presentation. Appreciate that very much. Have you reached out to some of the organizations that are in some way already doing some of these things? Not totally, but Habitat for Humanity, United Way?
No, I have not just yet. No, just Impact Paris, which is fairly new organization.
Well, I do respect the goal here, and I do think that it takes all of us to make everything better. So I commend you for that and for it being on your heart. And I do think there are some avenues that, we as a group, financially or not, but may be able to provide some avenues of introduction, things like that, for the mechanisms that are already in place that would help you further this. So that's my only comment.
Dr. Clifford?
Well, first, thanks for the presentation and your dream of this. I think it's very noble. I have a couple of questions. So you're anticipating that contractors and plumbers and people would donate their time to this. Will you have people that are stated they're willing to do that, or is that just in the future we're going to work on that?
Right, future, yes.
And specifically, what is it you would like the council to do to help you? What is it we can do that you would like for us to consider?
Well, as I'm presenting this to you, I wanted to of course, create this initial awareness so that in future, if this organization, not if, when the organization grows, if there is any, I need to get permission for anything, you'll be aware of it. And
okay, thank you.
That type of thing, yeah.
Mr. Trinado?
Once again, thanks for the presentation. It was really good and very informative, and I think that we need this, and I appreciate you.
Mr. Jenkins?
I like the idea. My question is, I guess when you go out and knock on doors and go to these people's homes and you assess the situation, what you want to do, if there's painting or doing the floors, where would these people be when you start doing the repairs and things?
Right. We would like them to be involved as well. The homeowners, we would ask them to assist us, with the work itself, whether it's decorating when we're done. Can you do this? And so we don't want them to just stand by and we, do all of the work. We want them to be involved 100%, as much as they could. If it's someone who is disabled, of course, we'll do all of the work,
Well, I was also talking about if it's some to the point where they have to leave the resident because you're in there for a period of time.
Right. We will assess every home as we go along. I haven't gotten to that. It's a good question. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but hopefully they don't have to leave their homes, do things better to time, I would say.
Ms. Lancaster?
Your suggestions come at a very timely manner for us. I've recently started with the churches to do a lot of the things that you're talking about. It's called Project Improvement. And we want to promote healthy homes, healthy situations. As I said, we're working with the churches. I met with them last Saturday. They're excited to get on board. Through the years, I have already worked with First Methodist Church doing exactly what you're talking about, providing an electrician if you need electrical work or windows fixing, those things that help make a home healthy.
Right.
So I'd be very pleased to work with you.
Thank you.
So I take it as a general consensus for the council that all of us are here to help and support you in any which way. And I'm sure the city manager and everybody in the city would be available, to assist in any way or form.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. We move on to the next agenda item, which is item number 11, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Dale Freeman on behalf of Abraham Enns for a change in zoning from a commercial district C to a light industrial LI on City Block 324, Lot 19, located at 2925 FM 79. Mr. Efrasi, brief.
Thank you. As you recall, earlier this year, with the staff recommendation and the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, the council approved several new zoning opportunities in the city, one of which was a distillery. The distinction was allow as a permitted use in heavy and light industrial use and with specific use permit in general retail and commercial. In this case, the applicant had property, interested in property that's zoned commercial, and he wants to develop this as industrial. The fundamental reason is because the further distinction in the zoning classification is for volumes of distillate, 6,000 gallons or more a year requires going into light industrial, heavy industrial use. We have our typical pre-application meeting with the applicant, and he had indicated that that is his ultimate goal. He will be using one of the structures on the site for that development. The staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval. We'll be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is welcome to address. If there is, sorry.
I'm Gary Waite, and I represent Dale Freeman, who is requesting that this zone change go through. Just wanted to bring everyone up to
Can you
date.
put the mic closer to you?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to bring everyone up to date that we are moving forward. There's a closing on this property this coming Wednesday, and Mr. Freeman will own the property at that time. And as you're aware, this property, half of it is light industrial, and the front half that faces onto the Farm to Market Road is commercial. And we're requesting that the front half of this property be zoned light industrial so that he can go forward with his business. We have checked into it, and we're within or outside of all schools and churches and so forth. We're more than 3,000 feet away, and there's, so far as we know, no one is objecting to this, and we believe that it will be a good business for the city of Paris, and we're asking that this be allowed and that this be done.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any of the council members have anything to discuss on this? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Item number 12 is conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Robert Giberson for a change in zoning from a light industrial to a commercial district C on block 86 located at 741 Northwest 9th Street. Mr. Frassi?
Thank you. Mr. Giberson is interested. We understand he has owned this property for some time. It's owned light industrial. He wishes to place a single-family home on this property and also develop an office use. In light industrial, you cannot put a residential use, whereas in commercial, you can have single-family, duplex, and even apartment-type uses. We conducted a public hearing. Staff recommended approval. Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval. We recommend that the City Council approve this. Be pleased to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against, please come forward.
My name is Robert Giberson, and I'm coming to y'all asking for approval. I come up to the city trying to make sure I've done everything without going into it blind. I come up and I ask to what I need to do to be able to build, and it's been a while, it's a long process, but they've told me I need to rezone it in order to have my home occupation and a home on the property. Other than that, I brought to them that, in the city ordinance it stated that you could have a home occupation in a light industrial district. It was permitted, but they said I was not in conforming use, is why I have to rezone it now to commercial.
Thank you. Anyone has any questions on it? I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Thank you. Item number 13, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of City of Paris, Texas to update zoning ordinance 1710 of City of Paris to include the definition of automobile detailing shop and allow said use to be permitted in the commercial C and light industrial zoning district with said zoning ordinance number 1710. Mr. Frassi.
Thank you. Recently, a gentleman had a pre-development meeting with the staff and requested an automobile detailing shop, and he was interested in a piece of property that actually was at the periphery of the CA zone. We told him that that would not be probably appropriate because of its automobile orientation, and certainly there's no use defined in the zoning ordinance. So we came forward, and we, through staff review, looked at that use, and one of the zoning sections has a prominent new and unlisted use section. So under that section, we prepared a definition of automobile detailing shop, and the staff recommends that if it's approved, that you would allow it as a permitted use in commercial and light industrial districts. We feel that its automobile orientation, although less intensive than a pure automobile repair, nonetheless does use some equipment and it is automobile oriented. We had the public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission. Staff recommends approval of the definition and allowance in these two districts. Planning and Zoning Commission approved.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against, please come forward. If there's nobody wanting to speak, the public hearing is now closed. Any discussion on this? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item number 14, discuss and provide direction to staff regarding a mailer to be sent to voters regarding the upcoming bond election. Before Mr. Godwin says anything, everyone has seen it and read it. Everybody agrees with it.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, any discussion on this? Yes.
I'd like to thank John for his presentation.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
said.
I like the
All right.
pictures too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item number 15, receive an update presentation from Mr. Holland Harper regarding Sulphur River Regional Mobility Authority. Mr. Harper.
Good evening, I'm Holland Harper. I live at 1040 31st Street. I represent Lamar County for the Sulphur River Regional Mobility Authority. And I'm here to give you some good news. How about that?
Good.
Sounds good.
So, always look to the money up front. So we're gonna cut the amount of payments that the city of Paris is gonna have by 8 years. So your liability went down 8 years through, honestly, we just got our contractor, our program manager, TxDOT did a fantastic job, and we came under budget by 34%. So, how did we get here? In 2013, we did an interlocal agreement based off a conversation that happened in 2011. We wanted the Highway 24 4-lane. At that time, the director of TxDOT was a guy named Amadeo Sanez, and he said to us, he said, it isn't gonna happen because there's not enough traffic on that location. And we had been working as a community, both Lamar County and Delta County and Hunt County, to 4-lane that highway since 1954. But he said, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. You come up with the right-of-way and the utility relocation, and we'll do the rest, which is kind of like, great, I caught a pony, but I don't know what to do with it. How do I come up with that? City of Paris put in 33%. Actually, it's in the back of your deal there. The PDC put in 33%. City of Lamar County put in 33%. City of Cooper put in 10%. And Delta County contributed their tobacco money. And that was about $4.5 million. SERMA went and borrowed the money with the commitments from those entities, from the SIB Bank, which is the State Infrastructure Bank, which is TxDOT's, actually it's the state of Texas's bank. And that's at about 3.38% on a 20-year fixed note. So then we contracted with TxDOT to go procure 99 parcels of real estate. TxDOT put up their own surveying at their cost, and they put up their own land acquisition at their cost. And they finished that program. And so therefore, we're going to cut off 8 years of your payments, and you'll have a reduction of liability of $533,000. Now, there's a reserve fund. And the reserve fund was SERMA, which is your Regional Mobility Authority, and the intellectual companies were at risk if it busted, if it went the other direction. So we didn't know where that was going to be, right? So we didn't know how much the real estate was going to cost. So we put in a 10% contingency money in that. And since we have to do some work in rewriting some of those amortization schedules, we'll get that money back too, which would be about $150K. But I haven't finished all that math, and we haven't finished all the lawyer work. And when that's done, that money will come back to you. I'll be back to you again. So, I want to present some good news to you. Everybody likes to get his money back.
Yes.
Subject to your questions. That concludes my presentation.
Anyone has any questions?
Great job.
Great
Yeah.
job.
Yes,
you.
we appreciate all the work.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Fryson?
No, I don't really have a question, just a general comment to say thank you, is that this work has gone on with a group throughout this region for a long time, a lot of sweat equity, a lot of hours, a lot of people that really care.
Yeah.
And I think we're all going to be all going to benefit for a long time.
Yeah.
While I'm here, I want you to know something. we're going to be very lucky in this. So there's 7.3 million people live in Dallas-Fort Worth right now, and it's growing at, I can't remember what the rate is, but it's growing very fast. 121, you drive 121 a lot to go to DFW, and you go that path. They do not have right-of-way done, right? And it's going to choke down the Melissas and the rest of it, and they don't have a plan for what that's going to happen. We're fortunate. 24 is done. And what, and so we have the ability to run trucks from Laredo, New Mexico, and on the port of Lázaro Cárdenas, all the way up to Quebec, Canada. They can come through here. And it should be able to make our manufacturers and our EDC and the rest of it have the ability to say, yes, I am on a 4-lane. I do have great infrastructure and traffic, and Paris, Texas is a great place to relocate your manufacturing or your distribution company.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Item number 17 is reconsider, discuss, and take action to rescind placement of 2 security cameras, 2nd and Bonham Street. Ms. Drake, this is your item.
Right, after the last council meeting, Ms. Harris was supposed to look into that, and she did, and I recommended we come back and rescind that vote, and so I would like to make a motion that we do that.
You have a place for discussion.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So you're making a motion to rescind the vote?
Well, after discussion, I'm for
No,
us.
if you can make the motion, and there has to be a second to discuss, so.
I'll
if you
second.
Okay, second, discussion,
Discussion, yeah.
yeah.
There were reasons that
Ms. Lancaster, the mic.
There were reasons that moved me to do that, among which were ladies who came to me who had been broken into and robbed 3 times, lights that did not work on Bowling Street, and I'll say they are still not working, and real fear. On top of that, even criminal activity occurred on Saturday where we had 2 cars get into a race. The 2 men jumped out of the car, pulled the driver out, and beat him up. It is an area, if we'd had cameras there, we would have been able to see who that was. We couldn't have stopped it maybe, but we could have identified it. I just hate to see any of my residents or any residents in Paris be in fear for their lives because they work in a dark area and are the victims of criminal activity. That criminal activity I've traced from one store, which is actively involved with drugs, to the other side of the city where these drugs are going. If we can't put these cameras up at my direction, I certainly encourage the people who are responsible for that to look at that area. It's just very unsafe.
Done, Ms. Lancaster?
Yes.
What I'd like to say is that as far as the motion is concerned, we can rescind the motion because as the city attorney and Mr. Godwin pointed out, it was out of our legal bounds to do that. But we can always make a suggestion that those are important areas and they should be looked at. So my suggestion on this would be to please inform the police chief that we have some concerns about that area. This is not a motion. This is not a direction to the police chief directly, but to Mr. Godwin, that please look into that area. If they can be placed, that would be good. Mr. Frierson.
Already seconded the motion.
Oh,
I think I know where I
all
stand.
right. Dr. Clifford.
Well, I think it was whether or not we could do this. So certainly, I think we should kind of amend it slightly to just make suggestion to the police chief to look into the possibility, and that's perhaps what we can do as a council.
Sure. Mr. Trinado?
I think he's right. We just ought to call it to the chief's attention and let them handle it.
Mr. Jenkins?
I'm okay with that. No questions.
Okay.
I wasn't for, I'm not against safety of our businesses and everything.
No, you're
It's
just making the
right.
motion to rescind the
Right.
item, yeah. So I'll make a motion that we give our recommendations as the council.
There's a
Yeah.
motion.
Oh, I'm
already.
sorry,
First and a second.
forgot. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. So do you just have a suggestion from all
Yes,
the
and in
council
fact, the
members?
chief has already met with the property owners out there since the last meeting.
Okay. All right. So item number 18 is considered in a future events for the city council and city staff pursuant to resolution 2004-081. Anyone has anything to suggest? I do have one thing to suggest, and that is that I'd like to put an item on the agenda for future council meeting. I've asked one of the bicycle companies to come and give a presentation on riding. I was recently in Netherlands, and their chief of the government takes a bicycle to work. And I'm not trying to suggest that that's what we should all do, but they have very healthy looking people there, and I think it might benefit all of us to do a little bit of bicycle riding. The interesting thing, however, I do want to tell something which was very interesting to me, and I didn't realize it. They have created these bikes that if you are an 80-year-old and you want to have that energy of an 80-year-old, you can ride the same bike and it feels very light to ride that bike. And you can be a 20-year-old and you can have adjustments on that bike. And these are some new innovative things that you can be riding on a flat road and it'll feel like you're riding on a hill. So it was very amazing. And I didn't find that. What I found more interesting was that if you are going up a hill and you're an 80-year-old and you don't want to exert that energy, it feels like you're riding on flat surface, which was amazing. So I wanted that company to come and give us a presentation and see. So at the next or the following council meeting, I'd like to make a suggestion for them to come. And the other interesting thing is that they provide free bicycles, and they provide free bicycle stands. And you just have to put in a quarter or a coin or whatever amount. You can take the bike from that area and park it another spot and just park it in.
We're fixing to have those on the trail to Paris.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And they were interested in doing a pilot study in a small town. So if we can be supportive and they can do it, we might get some free bikes and bicycle stands. So, so that's what I wanted to say. Mr. Frierson, item 19.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?